The crowd is usually wrong. I don't think the crowd is right.
The crowd steered me wrong every single time I listened. I do the opposite of what the crowd says.
That's right, the crowd is usually wrong. Happens every time. I can show you millions of examples. When I recommended ExxonMobil in October of 2020, everyone hated it. All the analysts were negative on it. Everybody said they were going to cut the dividend. And what I did was I analyzed their balance sheet. I looked at their borrowing capability. I looked at their ability to cut their CapEx. And I determined that they would easily be able to cover the dividend. All they would have to do is cut CapEx and borrow some money. And that's exactly what happened. They just recently paid off all the additional debt that they borrowed during that terrible period. Their cash flow is stronger than ever, and they made the most incredible corporate turnaround in corporate history. But I've also often asked myself, why is the crowd always wrong? Why is the consensus almost always wrong? It's an interesting question, and it's really, I guess, a question that speaks to human psychology, and I'm not a psychologist. But you kind of have to be a psychologist if you're going to invest in the markets. And what I've found in the public markets is that the best way to make money in a public market is to identify the consensus, and if you can come up with a thesis of where the market is improperly priced, given the reality of the situation and given what everybody believes, you can do the opposite and make a tremendous amount of money. A current example of this, and I just recently did a short video on it, is the current situation with Fed policy, the change in Fed policy, and also the expectation with respect to inflation. Okay, I would say that the consensus today is that everyone thinks interest rates are going up. Everyone thinks that inflation is very strong and is going to stay with us, as opposed to last year, everybody was thinking that it was transitory, including the Fed chairman. But now everyone thinks that inflation is an enormous problem. I mean, even the politicians are talking about it. And when the politicians start talking about it, you know it's not true, or it's false. So I was thinking the other day that we're in a situation right now where everyone is concerned about inflation and interest rates going up, and everyone therefore is selling high growth stocks, right? And everyone is rotating into defensive names, dividend stocks. And I started asking myself, look, if I look, 6 months, a year ahead, I can see that if the Fed takes away the punch bowl, dramatically reduces liquidity, and inflation stays persistent, eventually the economy is going to slow down and we could potentially go into a recession. So what should you be buying right now? Should you be selling growth stocks? Should you be selling Google, Apple? I'm not going to say Facebook because I think Facebook has a lot of extreme problems. But Microsoft, Amazon? No, I think you should be buying them. You should be buying high quality growth stocks in the tech sector, because when the economy slows down, you're going to want to be in growth. You're not going to want to be in defensive names as everyone thinks you want to be in today. Food for thought, and I thought that it would be a good opportunity for everyone to just get out of their current consensus thinking and take a look at what you should be looking at today. Remember, the consensus is always wrong.